Hey folks, welcome back to another First Impressions video with yours truly, Sam Healey. This is going to be for a couple of games. The first one is going to be Rise and Fall of Anvalor, which is a new game coming out from WizKids, and the next one's going to be Outer Rim, the newest Star Wars game, I guess you could say, from Fantasy Flight. So let's go ahead and get to it. So the first one is the Rise and Fall of Anvalor. This is a game by WizKids, and it has the Warhammer Age of Sigmar theme wrapped around it, where you are basically trying to protect the city of Anvalor from attacking hordes of bad guys. And you have a bunch of, I think there are three or four different bad guys that can actually, there's the orcs, there's the, I think the Skaven, maybe one of them. There's an undead one in there, I think, and then there's the Chaos dudes, the whatever, the Bloodthirsters or whatever you want to call them. Those are the four different enemies that you can have in there, and then they all have different levels of difficulty as well. Then the players are going to take on the role of different heroic factions, the Stormcast Eternals and all of those kinds of people, and they're going to be defending the city, and you have different kinds of buildings that you're going to be putting into the city, and then there's also some of your tiles or troops that you're going to be laying down into the city as well, and it's almost like a tower defense type thing where when you place the bad guys, they're going to be showing up around the city on one of the 4 or 3 different sides, depending on how many players you have. And at some point, the attack is going to be triggered, and they're going to start eating into your forces and your buildings and that type of thing. And when they get to the other end of the board, well, they're done. So you do this, and when you attack and kill off some of those bad guy units, they're going to be worth points for you at the end of the game. And it's whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. But you do have to collectively, so I guess you could say it's kind of a co-op game, hold off the hordes of attackers in order to get to the end of the game. So my first impression of it is that it's interesting. It's fun. I do like the theme that's on it. It works. I'm not so sure I'm happy with the graphic design of the game, but I think the mechanisms, and again, this is just a first impression, I think the mechanisms are sound. They're nothing new, so to speak, but they're tried and true mechanisms that I've seen in other games before. So I'm eager to try it again, but I don't know where my feelings are going to fall on this game, but as soon as it hits the table, I'll get the review done and try to share those with you ASAP. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Next game today, and final game really, is Outer Rim. Now this is a hot title that is coming out from FFG, or has come out from FFG, I guess. And this is all about you're taking on the role of a bounty hunter or a smuggler flying in the outer rim of the Star Wars universe. So in the game, you're able to take on the role of a smuggler / bounty hunter that is flying in the outer rim. Jen Erso is one of them. You can be Han Solo, you can be Lando Calrissian, you can be Boba Fett, you can be Bosk, you can be IG-88, and then there's a couple of them in there that were, I think, generics to that Fantasy Flight just kind of made up. I don't know that for a fact. It could be like a cartoon from a cartoon that I haven't seen, or some other fringe comic or something like that I just don't know about, but I think they're just generic smugglers / bounty hunter people that Fantasy Flight made up, but I don't know. So you can be one of those people, and you start off with basically just a generic starter ship and a piece of cargo or a ship modification or something like that, and you're starting off with basically your bare bones. So you don't get to start off with the Falcon if you're Han or Lando. You don't get to start off with Slave 1 if you're Boba Fett. You have to make enough money to go purchase those. And that's kind of what this game is all about. It's about making your way in the universe, you know what I'm saying? Trying to eke out a living in the universe, and you're doing so by delivering cargo. Sometimes the cargo is refugees, sometimes they're illegal cargo. It does have some throwbacks, some winks and nods at Firefly, the board game, but I think it does feel different enough, in my opinion, than that. So But again, that's just my first impression. I don't really have anything to say about any of the other things. Like, I know a lot of people are saying that there's some downtime issues, and I don't know about that yet. So that's going to come out in the review that's going to be coming out later on in the near future. But my first impression is I don't dislike it. And I was kind of expecting to dislike it because of all of the negative press that I've heard about it so far. There's really been kind of some mixed reviews out there, so I didn't know what to think of it. I was thinking that I was going to not like it because of all of the things that I've heard about it so far, and that's not the case at this point. Now, I do want to get at least one more play underneath my belt, maybe two more, before we actually give it to the review. But I think right now, I just want to play it again. So that's not a bad thing, right? So that's my first impressions for Outer Rim. I know that's kind of nebulous, but I'm still looking to get it to the table and want to do more. So there you have it. And that's about it for this first impressions video. I think both of these games warrant more plays before the reviews are done. So I'm going to get that done. But I do enjoy them so far. So hopefully that will just continue. Thanks for joining me for this video. I certainly appreciate it. For you taking your time, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.